This is the iFootage Shark Slider Nano 2, and today we're gonna do a short little overview of why I bought it, but please note, it's not a review. And what if I told you that for only 600 bucks and a compatible DJI gimbal, of course a camera to mount on the gimbal as well, you can get a shot like this. And this is also so easy to do. You literally just mask around the person that's talking, and thanks to that repeatable motion, it is so easy to do. It is practically like having a static camera, except you get a moving image. I really enjoy doing these kinds of shots because they are so easy to do, but they look like you are a VFX powerhouse. So I am so happy with my purchase, which, by the way, I purchased this with my own money. Now, let's get into the video.
When the shots go high or go low, step 10 toes down, you should bow. When the time goes, then you should go.
You saw that intro shot. I could repeat that maybe 200 times and I'm pretty sure it would still be repeatable and pixel perfect. I have no idea, like usually when you use a robotic arm you need to use Genlock to make sure each frame is recorded at the same time and place. But I'm guessing because the gimbal is moving relatively slowly together with the slider, it's not that important to be using Genlock. So personally, I'm really impressed. I'm actually borderline confused as to how this slider is so good for such a cheap price. But Pontus, you say, how can you be this fucking stupid? Why don't you just use the gimbal you already have? Why do you have to have the slider to get these robotic movements that are so awesome and you love them? Yada yada. I hear you. It's something most of my friends have been telling me as well, but it's not really that simple. You see, when you try and use the stupid mobile app together with the DJI gimbal, it never repeats the same way. And that's something that's been bugging me since my first ever gimbal that supported this function, which I believe was the Ronin 2 SC, maybe, Ronin 2 Pro, I don't know. It was 5 to 6 years ago I tried to do this the first time, but it didn't repeat the motions the same thing. Then I got my new RS3 Pro a couple of years back, still the same thing. And I've tried it with the new RS4 Pro as well. It just does not work. But iFootage, they're using some black magic and a very nice flexible magnetic cable that you attach between the gimbal and the slider. Thanks to this cable, it just works. And I am so happy that it just works. I am so pleased to finally be able to do these repeating shots. So in my opinion, I'm not really paying for the slider. I could have picked some other slider with more movement for the same amount of money, but rather I'm paying for the integration together with DJI's gimbals, which is, as noted before, as noted many times, I'm just perplexed and I love it so much. It just works. Setting up the slider is also super intuitive because both the slider and the gimbal supports push mode. Push mode is basically you push the camera, you literally push it where you want it to go. So you slide it over, you push it, you angle it exactly where you want the camera to look at, then you set a keyframe, then you move to your next position and do the same thing. What about the slider itself then? Like, if you don't care about the gimbal things, you literally just want a slider. In that sense, it's a really good slider. Considering it's a Chinese slider, it is maybe not the cheapest one, but the build quality is perfectly adequate. When it comes to the noise of this thing, it's actually really quiet. I'm standing 30 centimeters away from the slider right now. As you can see, I'm using a really wide lens, and you cannot hear it at all. There is some slight sliding noise from the carbon fiber rods, but the motors are completely quiet, and otherwise it's a really quiet system. Build-wise, it does feel quite solid. It does have all the features that you want. It uses carbon rods. The motor is really smooth and quiet. However, if you only mount it on a tripod in the middle, you will get some up and down flex if you have a heavier package like I have. The camera I'm using right now with the gimbal probably sits around 7 to 8 kilograms, 16 pounds-ish. And if it does bother you, luckily the slider is set up with so many mounting points that you can attach 2 monopods at each side or maybe 2 magic arms or something just to support it. You have plenty of options and this slider will not be the thing letting you down on a shoot. The only caveat I have and what bothers me most about this slider is the short slide range. It's only 66 centimeters if you pick the large model, which for most shoots, and especially if you do product shoots, will be more than enough. But let's say we're doing an interview and we're doing basically what we're doing right here. I'm using the full length of the slider. The camera is around 1.5 meters away from me. And by the way, the closer you are to your subject, the more it's gonna look like it's moving. And vice versa, the further away you are, it's gonna look like the slider is moving less. So I'm really at the optimal distance I can be without being way too close to the camera and distorting the picture. Yet we still have not that much movement going on. It's absolutely fine, I can use it. But I would absolutely love a version that is 1 meter, maybe 1.2 meters long. What's that in inches, like 60 inches? Yeah, around 60 inches, and having that instead, I would gladly pay a couple of €100 just to have that extra length. And our final stop, should you buy this slider? Well, I bought it for my own money. Of all the sliders on the market, this is the one I picked, just because of the repeatable motion that enables me to do the shots that I want to do. If you want to do similar shots that I am doing, then it's probably a really good slider to pick up. But if you just want a really simple slider, maybe this one is a little bit too expensive for that. And don't get me wrong, it's not a Bolt, it's not a Cinebot, it's nothing like that. But for 1% of the price of what you would pay for a Cinebot, I will happily take all of the caveats, just because I can do the same shots that I want to do, that I would do if I had a Cinebot. For me, these $600 were so well spent. And if you have any questions, then post them down below. If you like this short little video, leave a like. For fuck's sake, I need every like. Do comment if you have anything, and subscribe if you would like to. I don't really care about the subscriber numbers, but we're getting up there. You know, when I started out, I was like, barely 50 are gonna subscribe. Why would you look at my ugly face? But apparently a lot of you want to look at my ugly face. So if you want to continue doing that, then support me. Thank you. Whoa, let's go.